Starts with the protagonist, Amane Fujimiya, walking down the street in the heavy rain. While he was on his way home, he saw a beautiful girl sitting alone and completely drenched in the rain. He tried to ignore her at first, but when he saw her crying, his intrusive thoughts kicks in. He offers his umbrella to her. The next day at school, Amane caught a cold because he gave his only umbrella to the girl. As a result, his friend, Itsuki Akasawa, got worried for him. We got to know that the girl Amane helped is Shina Mihiru. She is a student just like him. However, she is also called an angel because she is very good at studies and sports and is also a very humble person. Due to this reason, many boys in the class want to date her. At Amane's apartment, as he steps out of the elevator, he notices Shina standing in front of her apartment. She is holding the umbrella he gave her. Shina notices that Amane is suffering from a fever, so she asks what could she do to help him. Amane was tired and ill. He didn't have the strength to talk much. So, he told Shina to mind her own business. But he was too weak to even open his door as he was about to fall. Shina helped him in getting inside his apartment, but was not at all pleased when she saw the filth he was living in. We got to know that Shina is Amane's neighbor. Just like him, she also lives alone. She told him to change his clothes and wait for her to bring him some food she has made. After a few minutes, she brought him some rice porridge. Amane tasted it. The rice porridge was delicious. He was amazed to know that Shina, alongside other things, is also good at cooking. Out of curiosity, he asks the reason she was sitting alone yesterday. Did she fight with her boyfriend? He asks. Shina clarifies that she doesn't have a boyfriend, and nor she is planning to. And the reason she was sitting alone was to just cool her head. The next day on the balcony, Shina caught him drinking something. She asks, "What are you drinking?" Amane said, "Just my dinner." Shina was not at all pleased. She told him to stop having such unhealthy diets, and gave him some food for dinner. The next day when Amane returned the container, Shina again handed him food for dinner. This time, Amane told her to stop. She has already returned the favor, and no longer needs to do anything else. Shina said that this makes her happy. She can't bear to see her neighbor living an unhealthy life. After this, she started giving him dinner every day. One day, she went to Amane's apartment to ask for the container back. When he opens the door, Shina saw the filth was still uncleaned. So she requests him to let her clean his room. They started cleaning the room. As she was about to clean the air conditioner, Shina steps on a shirt and was about to fall, but Amane catches her. Shina was a bit surprised. After they cleaned the room, Amane treated her a pizza for dinner. She was very delighted. Amane asks her whether this is her first time eating it. Shina replied yes. Back at her home, she had a housekeeper who cooked her food, so that's why she hasn't tasted anything from outside. After eating dinner, she went to her apartment. Amane was on his way home when he saw Shina sitting in the park. He went up to her and asks, "What are you doing here?" Looking at the fur on her cloth, he asked, "Oh, were you playing with a cat?" Annoyingly, Shina replied, "I was not playing." She added, "Actually, the cat was not able to come down the tree, so I climbed up and bring it down." Amane notices that she has hurt her leg, and probably that is why she is sitting here with one of her shoes taken off. He told her to stay here, while he come back from the apartment. After a few minutes, Amane arrives with a first aid box. He handed his coat to her and told her to take off her socks. With a surprised face, Shina asks, "Why?" He replied, "Well, obviously to put on the bandage. Don't worry, I am not a man of culture. I just want to put the bandage." While he was looking away, Shina took off her socks. After that, Amane put on some ice and bandaged her ankle. After he was done, Amane said, "Put on the jacket, if you don't want others to see you with me." With a surprised face, Shina said, "Huh?" Then Amane carried her on his back to their apartment. Before she went to her apartment, Shina thanked him. The next day at night, Shina handed the container containing the dinner to Amane. Amane thanked her and asks, "How is your pain now?" Shina replied, "Thanks to you, now it is better." Shina suggested, "If you want to eat more fresh meals, then I would have to cook inside your apartment." With a surprised face, Amane told her, "You are already doing enough. I can't ask you for more." Shina added, "But only if you can pay half for the ingredients." Amane replied, "I would be happy to share it." But, wouldn't it be dangerous for you to be alone with me? Sheena with a serious look said, if you dare to do anything to me, I would make sure that you will never be a father. Amane was already imagining the pain. However, Sheena knew what type of a person Amane is. She told him, I can tell, you are not interested in me. That's why in the first place I offered to cook. The next day, Sheena arrives and started cooking the meal, while Amane was sitting in the living room. While Sheena was cooking, he looked at her and wondered, isn't this weird? She's almost like my wife. Sheena noticed that Amane is staring at her. She teases him by asking, I hope you are not having any cultured thoughts about me. Amane panicked and said, do not think too much. When the dinner was ready, Amane was amazed to see how insanely delicious it looks. After they were done eating, the both of them washed the dishes. The next day, after they ate dinner, Amane asked Sheena, what are you doing? Sheena replied, just checking my answers for today's test. Amane asks, how much do you think you would get? Sheena confidently said, a perfect 100. Amane was amazed. Sheena said, you are good too. Amane replied, well, that is a condition for me to live alone in the first place. He added, but not good as you. With a depressed tone, Sheena whispered, I have two. As she was about to leave, Amane notices that her ID card is left on the desk. When he looked at the card, he was surprised because Sheena's birthday is 4 days later. He then handed the ID card to her. So the next day at school, he asked Akazawa and his girlfriend, Chitose, what would be a perfect gift for a girl. Out of curiosity, Chitose asks, since when do you have a girlfriend? Amane clarifies, it is just someone I knew. Chitose didn't force him further and suggested a cosmetic item would be great. Amane liked the idea. The day of Sheena's birthday arrives. At night after dinner, Amane sat next to her and handed the gift. With a surprised look, Sheena asks, what is this? Amane replied, isn't today your birthday? Sheena said, yes, it is. But how did you know? As far as I remember, I haven't told a single person in the school about it. With a suspicious tone, Sheena added, so are you stalking me now? Amane told her that he saw it on the ID card she left the other day. Sheena tells him that he didn't have to give her anything, because she doesn't celebrate her birthday. Amane replied, well, this is just a way for me to repay you. So just take it. When Sheena opened it, the gift was hand cream. Amane told her, because you are so practical, I thought it would suit your current lifestyle. Sheena was happy. She notices that there is another gift. With a bit of shyness in his tone, Amane said, well, this one is based on my impression of you. That's it. And if you didn't like it, you can throw it away. The second gift was a small stuffed bear. With a serious look, Sheena replied, I will never throw it. I will treasure it. Amane looked at her while she was saying this and quickly turned the other way. He told himself, damn, I shouldn't have looked at her. Does this mean Amane has started to fall for Sheena? Well, it will all be revealed in the upcoming episodes. So stay tuned, guys. Amane has an unexpected guest. The woman is Amane's mother. She has come here to meet her son and ask about his well-being. Amane was very reluctant to let his mom come inside the house. But after a bit of persuasion, he let her in. Amane's mother is very impressed to see how tidy Amane's home is. And to see her son looking healthy, she couldn't believe it is his son. As she was about to enter Amane's bedroom, Amane was in a panic. He warns her that inside there are very embarrassing things that he doesn't want to show. The scene went back to 5 minutes earlier, and there Amane is telling Sheena to hide inside his bedroom, because he doesn't want his mother to see them together and make any wrong assumptions. Amane's mother suspected that Amane is lying, and she enters the room. Inside the room, it was Sheena, who was napping. Her mom was surprised to see Sheena's angelic beauty. She assumes that the girl is Amane's girlfriend. Amane tells her that she is just a friend. He tells her to not turn all girls' and boys' friendships into something romantic. Hearing the conversation, Sheena wakes up. Amane's mother went to Sheena and asks, hey Amane's girlfriend, what is your name? Sheena with a surprised look replies, it's Mahiru Sheena. Amane's mother tells Sheena to call her Shihoko. Sheena tries to clear up the misunderstanding by telling her that she only cooks for Amane because he can't do it. Amane's mother was very happy that Amane has got a girlfriend who takes care of him. Amane told Sheena that once his mother gets worked up she stops listening to other things. Before Amane's mother leave, she asks for Sheena's phone number. Amane apologizes to Sheena for not clearing up the misunderstanding. Sheena was happy to see how much Amane's mother cared for him and tell him that he is lucky. Before Sheena leaves, Amane gives her his apartment keys. He tells her that it's a pain to open the door every time. Sheena tells him that he is making a very indecisive decision. Amane tells her that when they stop hanging out, she can hand him the keys then. But for now, she can keep it because he trusts her. Sheena was very glad to hear it. The next day at school, the earlier exam result came out. Amane came 21st with 985 points, and Sheena came first with 1,180 points. At home, he treats Sheena with a cake to celebrate her achievement. Sheena told him that he don't have to buy this because it is not something special. Amane told her that it is just a small treat for her hard work. Sheena was very happy when she ate it. It almost looks like she is eating it after a very long time. She then feeds Amane the cake with her own hands. Amane was surprised but ate it anyway. The next day at school, Chitose requests Amane to let them come to his house on Christmas Eve. Amane told her that he can't do that and told her to change her plans. Chitose tells him that he doesn't even have a girlfriend, then why are you not allowing us to come? Chitose asks, Amane, you don't want to spend your time with us? Is that the reason? Amane finally gives up and allowed them, but on the condition that they wrap up before dinner. At home, Amane tells Sheena about his plan with his friends, and asks her how she would spend her time on Christmas Eve. Sheena tells Amane that all her friends have boyfriends and the boys who asked her out, she rejected them. So, she would be spending the time alone. Amane with a worried tone asks, won't you be lonely? Sheena with a sad tone replied, I'm used to it. Amane then asks her whether she would like to spend some time with him on Christmas. Sheena told him that she will, and told him that on Christmas they can play some video games as she has never played them. On Christmas Eve, while they were enjoying the party, suddenly the snow started falling. Chitose and Akazawa were in shock as they went outside to see the snow, because it was Sheena next to their apartment. Surprised, Chitose asked Sheena, what are you doing here? In reply, Sheena said, oops.
Hey, let's break up.
I feel so good too. Why are you doing this to me?
Look at yourself in the mirror. You're so beautiful. Can you be my girlfriend?
In reply, Sheena said, oops. Sheena joins them and explains everything to both of them. How she and Amane had their encounter. Because his diet was not healthy and to repay his favor she started making dinner for him. After hearing their situation, Akazawa tells them they almost look like a married couple. However, Sheena and Amane clarify they don't have any ulterior motives for each other. Amane requests Chitose and Akazawa to not tell anyone in the school, as it will cause unnecessary trouble for both him and Sheena. Akazawa and Chitose agree to not tell anyone. Chitose is mesmerized to see Sheena's beauty. However, when she tries to touch Sheena's face, Amane stopped her and told her to watch her manners. Chitose asks whether they can be friends. To this, Sheena happily agrees. After they left, Amane apologizes for his friend's manners. However, Sheena enjoyed meeting such interesting people. The next day on Christmas, just as planned, Sheena is playing video games. But due to her lack of experience, Sheena was facing some difficulties. So, Amane holding Sheena's hand guides her. But, when Amane realizes that he is touching Sheena, he quickly steps back and apologizes. Sheena was a bit surprised, but not mad because Amane is not a stranger. She was so into the game that she was following the character's movement, but accidentally falls on Amane's lap. She was embarrassed, but Amane started laughing because it was cute. After the game ended, Sheena tells Amane that she really enjoyed it. Amane gives Sheena a Christmas gift. It is a key case for the apartment key that Amane gave her earlier. Sheena was really happy. After seeing Amane's everyday clothing style, Sheena didn't expect Amane's sense of style to be good, but tells him that his style was better during middle school. Amane explains the reason for it was her mother, but then asks how did she know about his style in middle school. Sheena tells about Amane's photo that his mother sent her. After hearing this, Amane is really worried about what else his mother will send Sheena. Sheena also gives Amane a Christmas present. It is a scarf. Amane is happy to receive it. Seeing Sheena smile, with a straight face, Amane tells her how cute she looks while smiling. And before he further speaks, Sheena got embarrassed and covers his face with the scarf. She went outside. It was cold, so Amane puts a shawl on her. He thanked her for the last 2 months. Sheena also thanked him. The next day, Sheena came to cook dinner. However, Amane notices Sheena is a bit red. He tells her to check her fever. After checking, her temperature is 38.4 degrees Celsius. He told her to rest, and today he will make dinner. However, Sheena tells him that she is fine, and she'll cook dinner. Seeing that she is stubborn, he picks her up and asks where she wants to rest. Sheena didn't want Amane to see her apartment, so she chooses Amane's room. So he put her on his bed. When he tries to leave the room, Sheena grabs her trouser and wishes him good night. Worrying that she might escape, Amane holds her hand and tells her that he will not leave until she sleeps. The next day, after waking up, Amane went to check Sheena's fever. She still has some left, so Amane gave her some rice porridge and gelatin. After she ate it, Amane sat down and waits till Sheena fall asleep. Sheena tells Amane that nobody except Koyuki-san, her housekeeper, took care of her like Amane. And after Koyuki-san went to her home, she ends up alone in her house. Amane assures her, with him being here she will not end up alone. Amane blushingly said that he can't see the person he spends all his time getting sick, and tells her to sleep so that she can regain her strength. As Sheena lies down, Amane holds her hand until she sleeps. It's New Year. Both Amane and Sheena wish each other. Amane receives a message from his father about him coming tomorrow to his apartment. Before he tells Sheena about it, she falls asleep on Amane's shoulder. It seems she still hasn't recovered from her fever. So, Amane decides to put her on his bed while he sleeps on the sofa. Before going to sleep, he touches Sheena's cheeks and wishes her good night. It's morning, and Sheena is still sleeping. He touches Sheena's cheek again. She wakes up. She is a bit surprised. Amane tells her about his parents coming today to meet them. After a few hours, Amane's parents arrive. His father, Shudo Fujimiya, wishes and greets Sheena. They thank Sheena for taking care of Amane. While chatting, Shihoko tells Sheena about the kimono she has bought for her. In that, she and Amane will go on their first shrine visit. Amane dresses up first. When Sheena comes out in kimono, he is stunned to see how angelic Sheena is looking. Before they go, Sheena whispers in Amane's ear that he is looking good in it. Amane is blushing. During the shrine visit, everyone is staring at them because of how good they look together. Since it is so crowded, Amane holds Sheena's hand. After the shrine visit, they went back to their home. Before she went to her apartment, Sheena tells Amane that it was a wonderful day. The next day, before Amane's parents leave, they made him promise to bring Sheena in the summer to their home. At school, a rumor about Sheena holding the hand of her boyfriend is already spread. Classmates are wondering who could be this boy. One of the girls reveals that the boy is pretty handsome but doesn't seem to be from this school. Akazawa stares at Amane since he knows who is that guy. Before he speaks anything, Amane told him to not say a single word. At home, Sheena and Amane discuss what to do now. For the time being, Sheena has dismissed the rumors by saying the boy was her acquaintance. They believe it is better to wait for some time while the news gets cool off. Amane is frustrated and asks Sheena, "Why do people even think a guy like me could ever be your boyfriend?" Sheena gets upset and tells Amane to not think so low of himself, because she considers him a gentle, kind, and considerate person, and he even looks good in dresses. After realizing what she just said, in embarrassment, Sheena is covering her face while Amane is washing the dishes to avoid awkwardness. The next day, since Valentine's Day is tomorrow, Chitose has come to ask what kind of chocolate should she give to Akazawa. However, Amane doesn't know. Sheena also plans to give it to some of her friends. Chitose is very happy to know she is one of them. It's Valentine's Day, and at school, every girl is giving handmade chocolate to Katawaki. The rest of the boys are just staring at him. Akazawa teases Amane and asks whether he would receive any chocolates from Sheena. Amane denies that he doesn't know. After school ended, Chitose gives Amane her special Russian chocolate, which is both super sweet and bitter. Akazawa wishes Amane for his safety. Seeing how many chocolate boxes Katawaki has to carry, Amane gives him a polybag that he always carries for groceries. At home, Amane eats the chocolate Chitose gave him. However, they are too bad. Sheena gives Amane a hot chocolate that she has made. It is very delicious. Thinking it is very unusual for Sheena to make it, Amane asks whether she has made it because of Valentine's Day. Sheena is blushing and replied yes. Amane thanks her. Sheena, who is partially covering her face with a pillow, suddenly went to her apartment, but leaving a bag behind the door. When he opened it, there is some chocolates Sheena had made for him. In the note, she wrote these are for helping her. Amane couldn't be happy more. The next day at school, Katawaki shows his gratitude to Amane for helping him. At home, when Amane opens his door, Sheena is already inside. Sheena is still covering her face with a pillow in embarrassment over yesterday's incident. In return for the chocolate, Amane plans to return the favor. The next day it's the white day, so Amane dressed up, gives Sheena the present. It is a bracelet. Sheena is very happy. But, there is another item in the bag. Sheena opens it and it is a do anything you want card. Amane is blushing. He thought one gift wouldn't be enough, so he thought this would be good. Sheena tells Amane that she wants to use it now, and tells Amane to put the bracelet on her. Amane puts it on her. Looking at how gorgeous she is looking, Amane is speechless. The next day at school, Akazawa had an argument with his father. As a result, he requests Amane to let him stay in the house for a few days. Amane agrees as spring break is starting tomorrow. In the evening, Sheena makes dinner. Akazawa is delighted to taste it. At night, he tells Amane that he is happy for him, because in school his image has become of an unsociable nerd. And on seeing how much Sheena trusts him, Akazawa is happy and would like it if both of them get into a relationship. Amane didn't say anything and goes to sleep. After knowing Akazawa is staying in Amane's house and he has tasted Sheena's amazing cooking, Chitose is excited and comes to stay at Sheena's house. Chitose was amazed after eating Sheena's omelet rice. In the night, Chitose sends a photo of Mihiru in a cute outfit. It is so unexpected that Amane is blushing heavily. Akazawa takes Amane's photo as told by Chitose. Amane asks the reason. Akazawa tells him it is something for later. After 3 days, Akazawa and Chitose are leaving. He is going to stay with Chitose for a few more days. After they left, Amane tells Sheena that he is glad to see her taking care of the gift he gave her. Sheena says, well, obviously because you gave it to me. She also tells him about the photo Chitose showed of him. But then she quickly covers her face and tells him to ignore it. Amane is a bit confused. The next day, while coming to his home, Amane sees a woman scolding Sheena. She tells Sheena that she is a disappointment, and once she graduates she'll never see her again. After she leaves, Amane asks Sheena what was it all about. Sheena tells him that she was her biological mother. And since Sheena's birth, she has always hated her. Amane holds her hand and requests her to tell him about it. In his apartment, while holding Amane's hand, she tells that her parents didn't marry out of love. They were forced by their family because of their mutual interests. Every day after their marriage, they treated the house as a hotel. But one night, they slept, and after 9 months she was born. They were not interested in raising her and only supported her financially. No matter how much she achieved, they still didn't want her. And as they were away for most of the time, Sheena's bond with her housekeeper grew stronger. They do not want a divorce, because then one of them would have to take care of her, and none of them wants to do it. So they are waiting for her to finish college, and then they all will go their separate ways. Amane is very sad. He couldn't believe how tough a situation Sheena is in. Sheena then tells, the day Amane met her, that day her mother told her, Sheena was an unwanted child, which was so devastating she couldn't think of anything else. And at that point, she felt really lonely. Amane is frustrated. He covers her with a sheet and comforts her. Sheena couldn't hold her tears anymore. Amane hugs her and tells her that she doesn't need to feel lonely ever again because he is here for her. Sheena felt very relieved. They went out for a walk. From tomorrow, a new session is beginning. Sheena tells that she is excited to see her new classmates. The next day, the new term has begun. And this time, all four of them are in the same class. Sheena is happy to see Amane. Katawaki is also in the same class. He greets both Akazawa and Amane. However, Amane suddenly starts to get some flashbacks from his middle school. At home, Amane is in deep thought. Sheena is worried and asks him if anything is wrong. Amane denies it and tells her everything is fine. Seeing he is lying, Sheena gets a little pushy and tells him it's fine to lean on her just like she did. Amane still refuses. Sheena didn't force him further. Seeing how supportive Sheena was, Amane get her a lot of stuffed toys. She is surprised and very happy. The next day at school, the teacher tells students to form a group of 4 and plan the menu for their cooking lessons. Amane, Akazawa, Sheena and Chitose are in one group. However, after seeing Amane with Sheena, some of the boys are not happy. At lunch, Katawaki approaches Akazawa and Amane. He tells that he wants to become their friend. Without any hesitation, Akazawa agrees. However, Amane asks him what benefit will you get from it. Katawaki, a bit surprised, asks I don't think people make friends to make a profit out of them. He just wants to know them better. Amane immediately apologizes for his rude question. At home, Sheena is jealous to see any boy can come up and get close to Amane, whereas she is not able to do it. Amane calms her down by patting her head, and tells that they cannot do anything risky that other students can misinterpret. The next day, as a group they are cooking food. And as expected, Sheena's angelic skills are very helpful. 2 boys are messing around and as a result the courier girl was making accidentally falls toward Sheena. Amane with his quick reflexes saves her. After asking Sheena and the girl whether they are okay, he got angry and tell the boys to not fool around, because here a lot of serious accidents can happen. Sheena is very happy to see Amane protecting her. The 2 boys apologize and after it, the teacher also scolds them.
I'm Ranger A.
I'm Ranger A's friend.
Look at my smooth operation, easy to pass. It's just an accident. Don't come over. God, what about my operations? It's not easy to pass with friends.
The 2 boys apologize and after it, the teacher also scolds them. The Golden Week is coming. Sheena uses the anything you want ticket. She tells Amane that for a day in the Golden Week, she wants to go out with him for shopping. And after, somewhere they can enjoy like a cat cafe and an arcade. Amane is happy and agrees. The Golden Week has started, and just as promised, Sheena is teaching cooking to Chitose at her request. They start by making a shrimp dish. And in the meantime, Amane takes a nap. When he wakes up, he is surprised to see Sheena beside her. When Amane was napping, she sat next to him, and Amane leaned on her. Sheena didn't want to interrupt his sleep, so she stayed like this. Chitose teases them for having such a weird relationship. After eating the food, Chitose thanks Sheena and leaves. While they both were sitting, Sheena confesses that while Amane was sleeping, she squeezed his cheeks. Amane tells her that it's fine. After all, he would have also done the same. Since tomorrow they are going out as planned, Sheena asks Amane's opinion on whether she should wear a mature dress or a prim and proper one. Amane picks a prim and proper dress as it will look cute on her. She promises to leave him speechless with her dress. The next day, Amane is stunned to see how gorgeous Sheena is looking. Holding each other's hand, first they go to the cat cafe. Sheena is excited to see how many cats are here. The coffee is decorated with cute cat latte art. But she does not want to drink it, as it will ruin the cuteness. Amane laughs and tells how cute she is to worry about the art. He tells her to drink or otherwise it will be a waste. Covering her eyes, Sheena drinks it. Amane laughs at the foam mustache and takes her photo. After playing with the cats, they go to the shopping mall. While Sheena was picking a dress, two girls approach Amane and ask him to hang out with them. Just then Sheena comes and takes him away with a jealous look on her face. From there they go to the arcade. After winning a toy, Sheena gifts it to Amane. Amane takes it and thanks her. And when he was about to put his hand on Sheena's head, Katawaki comes. He is surprised to see both of them together. Amane explains that he and Sheena live next door and know each other for a year. Sheena requests Katawaki to not tell anyone about her and Amane's friendship. Katawaki promises that he will not, because he understands it will cause misunderstanding. After it, they go back to their home. The next day, at karaoke, Katawaki asks about yesterday's incident. Amane tells him that they were just hanging out, that's all. Akazawa tells Katawaki that every day Sheena comes to Amane's home and cooks for him. Katawaki is surprised because normally a girl would not want to spend her time with a boy unless she is interested in him. And on top of it, coming to a boy's house is only when she is very comfortable around him. Katawaki tells Amane to be honest and asks whether he likes Sheena. Amane gives in and finally confesses that he likes her. After coming from karaoke, at home, Amane notices that Sheena is hiding something. He asks her. Sheena tells that Amane's mother sent some of his pictures when Amane was younger. Amane is very embarrassed. He tries to take away the phone but accidentally pushes Sheena down. Realizing it is a bit awkward, Amane gets up. Sheena gives the phone to him. And while Amane is checking on them, Sheena smiles. The next day, Sheena asks Amane why did he decide to start living alone. While petting Sheena's head, he tells her to not worry too much because it's not a big deal. Sheena suspects Amane is lying and asks him again. He starts telling. When he was younger, he was fortunate to be born into a well-off family where he was loved. But because of it, he starts believing everyone was the same. Because of his naiveness, few of his so-called friends use him for his money. But one day, he heard them talking nasty things behind his back. Even though he knew there are good people also, but still from then he started suspecting everyone who wants to be his friend. And to start a fresh beginning, he changed his school and started living here. Sheena gets angry and tells him that if those guys were here, she would have slapped them hard. She tells him that he is a very kind person. She pulls him closer and tells him to rely on her just like she did, and that he doesn't need to hide anything from her. The next day in school, two girls ask Sheena about the guy she was in the shopping mall. Sheena tells them that he is a friend. They further ask her whether she is dating him. Sheena replies that technically it was a date, but we are not an official couple. She tells them, one thing is for sure, he is the most important person to her. Amane is stunned to hear it. At home, Amane asks Sheena about what she said. Sheena tells Amane that she was not lying. It has been a year, but he is the closest person to her. She feels more comfortable with him than any other person. Amane understands what she meant. The next day, Amane looks a bit dead inside. Chitose asks the reason. Amane tells the reason is that he has started going for exercise and is just a little tired. Amane seems a bit awkward looking at Sheena, and even when she asks him something, he is not able to look into her eyes. At home, she asks Amane why was he avoiding her in school. Sheena apologizes in case she has done something of which she is not aware. He tells her that she hasn't done anything. Sheena asks the reason Amane was being so cold. Amane is freaking out, but when Sheena forces him, he gives in and tells her that today he had a lewd dream about her. And because of it, he was very awkward seeing her face. Amane apologizes. Sheena asks about what exactly she was doing. Amane is freaking out and tells her she doesn't need to know all that. Sheena comforts him and tells him that it's natural to have these thoughts when you are spending a large amount of time with the opposite gender. The next day at school, students are notified about the upcoming exams. And for its preparation, everyone comes to Amane's home for a study session. After studying and eating lunch, they all left. Amane secured 6th place in the exam, and Sheena secured 1st like usual. Because he has gotten better results, Sheena decides to clean Amane's ears as a reward. She pats her lap and indicates Amane to lay his head over here. Amane is hesitant. Sheena notices it and tells him to not come if he doesn't want to. Amane assures her it's not like he doesn't want to, but because of his male urges. Sheena trusts him and that's why she is letting Amane lay his head. Amane decides and lay his head. She starts with Amane's right ear. Amane enjoys it. After it's done, Sheena tells him to turn over for the left ear. Amane sees the forbidden boundary. He closes his eyes to resist his urge and turns over. After Sheena is done cleaning, she starts to play with Amane's hair. It's so relaxing that Amane ends up falling asleep. He wakes up and notices Sheena is asleep too. He tries to wake her up, but she is in deep sleep. With no other choice, Amane carries Sheena to her apartment. He lies her down, but half awake Sheena offers him to sleep next to her. Amane controls his urges and puts a stuffed toy next to her. The next day, Amane returns her apartment key. Sheena in a nervous tone asks if Amane saw any photo frame near her bed. Amane refuses because the room was dark. Sheena is relieved to hear this. Early morning the next day, Sheena comes and wakes Amane up. She is excited and asks if today is anything different about her. Amane looks at her closely and notices she is not wearing her tights. He blushes and looks the other way. He suggests Sheena to not go outside without the tights or else every boy would be staring at her legs. Sheena asks Amane whether he would also stare at them. Amane refuses because it's uncomfortable. Sheena then asks about the time he removed them. Amane explains, at that time it was an emergency. Amane in a bit angry tone scolds Sheena for showing him her bare legs. He shows his worry over Sheena being off guard.
Dali. Awat ba? Ali ba? Wah. Wah, may lato-lato. Anak tayo duyan ta. Apa?
Ba't di pa kayo kumakain? Recess na. Hala, wala kayo apat kayo na kayong baon. Sige, meron pa ako dito ng sobra. May sobra pa ako dito ng sabitin na isos. Sa inyo na lang.
Abo, akala ni Cyril ikukunin na ang mga anak niya. Gusto dahil pinipilit niya ng abutin. Hindi ko alam kung mga dibaterya ba to dahil kamay na lang ang gumagalaw. Kung dati nga ay hindi nila nauubos ang pagkain. Gusto dahil ngayon hindi mo na sila mapigilan. At may bago nga silang pinaglilibangan ngayon. Ito nga pinaglilibangan nila ngayon ay kakaiba. Habang busy nga kami mag-pack ng mga orders nyo, kaya kaday nakita ko yung isa na tinampal ni Cianil. Ngayong araw nga ay kumuha lang si Burikot na kakainin nila. Gusto dahil makita lang nila yung bowl. Nag-uumpisa na sila magwala. Akala mo naman ay ginugutom. Kung dati nga ay hindi nila maubos yung pagkain. Diyos ko dahil ngayon hindi mo na sila mapigilan. Mas dumoble yung takaw nila ngayon. Hindi ko nga alam kung bakit ang hilig nila kagatin itong cage nila. Once kasi natumubo na lahat ng ngipin nila. Nag-uumpisa na po silang magngat-ngat. Sa mga ganitong edad nga ay kailangan na silang bilhan ng mga chutoy. Eto si Bika ay hindi ko malaman kung dibaterya ba. Mukhang malapit na nga siya malobat dahil kamay na lang ang gumagalaw. Sa ngayon nga, eto si Bika pinakamalaki sa kanila magkakapatid. Siya din ang pinakamatakaw. Kapag binigay mo na sa kanya yung pagkain, Diyos ko dahil malingat ka lang saglit ng tingin sa kanya. Simot na simot talaga yung pagkain. Sa ngayon nga ay hindi pa namin sila binibigyan ng vitamin. Pero bukas nga ay sisimulan na namin silang painumin. At ito na ang bago nilang kalaro. Ito nga kalaro nila ay kasing lusog din nila. Siya na din ang nag-aasikaso sa mga little balyena. Dahil kami nga ay busy mag-pack ng mga orders nyo. Hindi na nga sila masyado alagain. Dahil sila nga ay kumakain na. Maaga pa lang ay pumupunta na agad dito si EJ. Dahil siya nga ay sobrang excited na alagaan ng mga little balyena. Kitang-kita nyo naman kung gaano siya kagigil. Eto nga sila Big natutuwa din sa bago nilang kalaro. Dahil pare-pareho daw sila malulusog. At may bago nga silang pinaglilibangan ngayon. Diyos ko dahil nanonood sila ng mga cartoons sa cellphone. Ito naman nanay ikinukuha na ang kanyang anak. Dahil ayaw niya nga na nagbababad sa cellphone si BE. Pero wala nga siya nagawa dahil lahat ng mga anak niya ay nanood na. Hindi ko akalain na ito ang magiging libangan nila. Mukhang meron na nga magiging kaagaw si Bukoy sa TV. Ito si Chunky ay talaga nakapokus sa pinapanood niya.
Whatever you make with a 3D pen, I'll pay for. Rules are simple, only the best one will win. What you make, you have 20 hours. Go! There will be a punishment. If you lose, you have to do 100 math problems.
So far, I'm making the head of Spider-Man.
It is 8:45. I have the headband done for the most part, and I think I'm gonna call it a night. I'm gonna be back at 3 in the morning for you, Connor.
It's 3 a.m. in the morning. I am so tired. So I think I'm all done with my dinosaur, and now I'm gonna be off to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning.
I'm back to the house. It's around 5 in the morning. I'm honestly very surprised to see Izzy and Viv are still working.
So I think I'm gonna go to bed now. It's currently 5:16 a.m.
Okay, so I literally stayed up 20 hours making this drone. I'm tired and angry.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Everyone stop. Time is up. Right, you guys are going to present from left to right. Mackenzie?
Diet of velociraptors, full-on, complete skeleton, and then there's also a plaque.
We did have some concerns regarding your use of paint, and we did go over. Technically, this time I didn't say you couldn't use it, so we're not going to judge based on the paint, we're going to judge based on the structure. The structure is really
Okay guys, I recently started playing this game, Survival Hero Action RPG game. I literally cannot stop playing this game. Okay, let's start. So at first I didn't know what to do, so I just kept dying. But okay, so here like, you can combine these two items.
incredible, and it looks like a real dinosaur fossil.
I made a pair of AirPods Max. These are actually detachable.
Very interesting. I like the functionality. You got the form really nice up there.
This entire is building Mr. Bacon and a barn. I made a Mr. Bacon house. It has a little... I made a dragon to protect my house, and I made a crafting table and a bed inside.
Your Mr. Bacon house is extremely clean. I can't believe it has a working door. That's ridiculous.
So I made a super space drone with all these different colors and patterns. This says drone in Japanese. And then on the other side it says DHC, of course.
I would say, in general, since it's more of like a badass beast, make it a little more like kiddish.
So I have a really special heartfelt piece today. This is a tribute out to the endangered turtles out there. It was really hard to make. It has some little different greens.
Yeah, not gonna lie, I'm surprised you even got to have a turtle done, considering just like an hour or two ago you only had 2 fins.
So I decided I wanted to make a laptop with a Spider-Man coming out of the screen, and I did all of the letters and numbers in the keyboard, and then also the Apple logo lights up.
What?
Whoa!
That's cool. So as you know, we can only pick one winner, and for that, we need a judge, which won't be me today. We're doing things a little bit different. Camera crew, I'm gonna take the cameras, and you guys are gonna come up here. Dave, Shane, and Arno, come on up. Video.
Ang kwento ng isang lalaki na kawatan ng mangga. Pagkatapos na nangawat ng mangga, umuwi siya sa bahay. Tinuslo niya ito sa suka, tuyo at may sili. At hindi pa siya nakontinto dito. Kumawat pa siya ng bayabas. Kaya ang resulta, sumakit yung tiyan niya. Kaya dito, kumuha siya ng dahon ng balanghoy. At saka, hindi na paduwi-dugay pumunta sa katanhanan at saka naligaw. Isang araw, habang nagduyan-duyan ang isang lalaki, ay napag-isipan niya na mangawat siya ng mangga. Pero dito, may napansin siya, nakakaiba. Pagtingin niya sa taas, abukado pala ito. Kaya wala nang pag-alanlangan, kinakkat niya ito na parang unggoy. At nakuha niya ito. napakalaki talaga ang amparo. Kaya, At dito, habang naglalakad ang isang lalaki, ay may nakita siya dito na mangga, napakaraming bunga. Kaya, hindi siya padugay-dugay. Binuno niya ito ng 2 beses. At ang pangalawang tira, napakarami talaga ang nakuha na mangga. Kaya, napakasaya ang lalaki. Kaya, nilagay niya ito sa plastic. At ang plano ng lalaki ay dagdagan pa niya ito. Pero nakita niya, hala, may lapinig dito. Pag mapaakan yung mata niya, buburot dito. Kaya, pumunta na lang ang lalaki dito sa may bahay sa gilid kasi manghingi siya ng asin. Pero hindi siya binigyan, kaya iningkit-ingkit na lang niya ito, ang mangga. Pero napaka-aslom talaga kaya hindi siya naglanlangan. Umuwi siya sa bahay, hinanda niya ito. At pagdating sa bahay, hinanda ng lalaki ang tagtaran at saka ang sutsilyo para ito ang gagamitin sa paghiwa ng mangga. At sa sobrang igang talaga, nagbukas ng jacket ang lalaki at dito sinimulan na niya ang paghiwa-hiwa at pagpanit ng mangga. Dito, binilisan ng lalaki ang pagpanit ng mangga para mabilis na siyang makakain kasi nalalaway na siya. Kaya dito, natapos na at finished product na. Kaya, hiniwa-hiwa ng lalaki ng kunti ang mangga kasi para masarap. At saka dito, nilagay niya ang sili, napakaraming sili para maanghang. At hindi pag-alinlangan, nilagyan niya ang toyo years. Ito ang toyo years. At siyempre, ang suka years. Yan ang suka years. Nilagay niya ang suka years. At siyempre, magic sarapers. Yan ang nilagay magic sarapers. At dito, naghahanda ang lalaki ng para kumain. At hindi pag-alinlangan, hindi niya inaasahan na pangyayari sa pag-isa niya ng sili ay may kumakain na siya dito ng napaksarap at dumating ang enkantada ng mga plato na tighugas na likramador. Ayan, kumain pod ug apil. Napakalaki ang kain ng enkantada ng plato. At dito, naubos talaga kaya hinigot ko na lang ang sabaw ng mangga. At dito, grabe, napakabusog ang lalaki. Talaga, sobra, oo. Pagkatapos kumain ng lalaki, ay nagduyan-duyan siya ulit kasi masarap yung kain niya ng mangga. At dito, hindi pa siya nakuntinto, kumawat pa siya ulit ng bayabas at iningkit-ingkit niya ito. Grabe, napakasarap ng bayabas at bumaklay siya. At hindi pa siya rin nakuntinto, kumuhain pa siya ng sitsaron. Grabe talaga itong lalaki. Kasi klase na ang laman ng kanyang tiyan. Ano na kayang nangyayari dyan? Kaya, sa kabandang huli, sumakit ang tiyan ng lalaki. Grabe talaga ang sakit ng tiyan ng lalaki. Kaya, nakatingin siya sa tubuhan at tamang-tama din may mga dahon ng bulanghoy. Kaya kinuha niya ito at dali-dali kaya humakbo papunta sa tubuhan at dito niya binuhos ang sama ng loob.
Huwag nang mangamba at huwag kumain ng gagamba. Ayusin ang upo, baka ikay matumba. Halika't sabay-sabay tayong tumawa. Simulan natin sa mga batang makukulit. Pinaikot-ikot ba naman ang upuan gamit ang puwet? Ayun, masakit. Pinapakuha lang sa'yo yung foldable sampayan, pero bakit muntikan ka nang natuluyan? Bawat galaw kasi dapat pinag-iisipan. Pag umakit naman sa bakod, dapat nagdahan-dahan. Ang problema nga lang kay kuya, huli niya na ito nalaman. Naku talaga, Aling Gigi, yung anak mo. Problemado sa kanyang eksperimento. Sinusubukan lang ng putulin yung tubig na galing sa gripo. Paglaki niya, pangarap niya yata maging bumbero. Ate, ba't mo naman ginawang cream yung kalburo? At dahil pinaigting na rin ang lane ng motorsiklo, pilit pa talagang buhatin ni kuya yung motor ng Mio. Huwag lang matikita ng 500 piso. Kaya mo yan kuya, huwag kang sumuko. Papaluin ko na, hawakan mo mabuti. Ay pre, di mo lang sorry. Nanay, ayan ka na naman, nabuboring ka na naman sa buhay. Pag lumuwag yan, di na yan may sosot ni tatay. Eto naman, pinakita kung gaano siya kademonyo. Buhusan mo ba naman ng alcohol yung nagpe-penetrate na tao? Oh, pag sinabi kong tapak, tapak sa preno. Oh, gas. Yan, tapak. Ayun, hinayot. Eto naman si Bukloy sa pisunit pa na abutan. Yung nakabantay sa likod, di niya na malayan. Sinumbong ka tuloy kay Aling Susan. Pag naglalaro sa labas, dapat nagdahan-dahan. Hanggat di mo na-experience to, di mo yun malalaman. Nung trip yan, brother, sa kalsada mo pa naisip maging dancer. Nabadrip tuloy yung mga driver. Yung galawan mo na talagang winner na winner. Sumalampak ka talaga ng nakahubad sa pinwheeler. Ang technique naman na to ay tinatawag na snake dragon. Lumalabas lang to pag nag-inom ka maghapon. Yung trip ni kuya to the highest level. Yung kasunod na moves ang tawag naman daw, wind of eagle. Yung dance move naman ni ate, hindi ko alam kung anong tawag dito. Basta sa sobrang galing, napaduwit pa si Coloso. Nakalimutan niya yata na siya ay isang aso. Pumili din minsan ng lugar kung saan pwede mag-ehersisyo para din sa magaya dito. Hi guys, for today's video, ito nga pala ay salamat bang? Ay, pre, hawakan mo maayos, bakit naman kamay mo ah? Thanks pre, hindi lang ako saglit ah. Hi baby. Paano ba, baby? Yung editing skills nila to the highest level. Kuwang-kuwa talaga bawat angle. Perfect na nila yung paggamit ng KineMaster. Pag nakatambay, huwag basta-basta magubad ng tsinelas para maiwasan yung mga asong kawatan at mahilig magtakas. Magdamag ka maghanap dyan sa labas. Eto naman pang entry sa talentadong Pinoy kaso parang mali yung nadampot na kahoy. At eto naman ang kasunod, nagpasikat dahil maraming nanonood. Ayun, tumama yung alulod. Di naman daw masakit, sakto lang. Si kuyang nagtatali ng sintas sa tapat ng gate. Parang finulswing ng matindi sa puwet. Kaya pa naman tumayo, hindi naman daw masakit. Di na lang daw niya gagawin yun ulit. Si Lola naman, living the life to the fullest. Angkas lang daw muna siya dahil wala pa siyang license. Road trip lang kapag hapon. Habang may hawak na payong na galing Avon, si kuyang grab driver naman hindi mahanap yung location. Dapat talaga mag-ingat pag may maha at maulan. Gayahin niyo si kuya na may tricycle de amphibian. Goods na goods yung taas, mga tatlong talampakan. Bago umakyat, kailangan mo pa ng hagda.
Hey man, I'll pay you $100 if you can survive.
Na nga ako maghapon, tapos magpupuyat pa tayo. Then, nung humiga na ako, may isa akong napansin. Yung lupa, lubak-lubak. So, yung posisyon ng katawan ko habang nakahiga, ganito. Likod ko din. Hindi ako aware na hindi nga pala pantay. Yung lupa na hihigaan namin. Hindi ako makatulog ng maayos nun. Nararamdaman ko yung mga maliliit na bato, mga damo na nadadaganan ko habang nakahiga na siguro nagmamakaawa na, akala mo ba ikaw lang nahihirapan? Hindi ako makatulog na nakahiga. So, ang ginawa ko, dumapa ako sa pagkakakalang magiging okay na yung pagtulog ko. Kasi pumago na ako ng pwesto. Pero, no! Lalo ko mas naramdaman yung lupa. Ramdam ko mas yakap-yakap ko si Mother Earth. Yung unang lubak, nakakalso sa dibdib ko. Yung pangalawang lubak, nasa tiyan ko. At yung isa, never mind. Tumihaya ulit ako kasi mas komportable pa yon kesa dumapa. At doon ko na naramdaman ang banas kakagalaw ko habang natutulog. Binuksan ko naman yung chargeable fan ko na aircon daw puno pero hindi sapat yun. Bumubuga lang siya ng hangin na may spray ng hamog. Walang nangyayari at ang banas-banas pa rin. Kahit wala nang taklob yung tent at yung shield na lang sa lamok ang nakalagay, mainit pa din. Gusto ko sana natanggalin din yun para mas pumasok yung hangin. Kaso siguradong mas maraming papasok na lamok at mas hindi ako makakatulog. Hindi ako mapakali nun hanggang sana pagdesisyonan ko na lang na lumabas at makipagkwentuhan doon sa mga kasama ko. Nagkukwentuhan silang dalawa ng tungkol sa aswang at pagkatapos nun, sa wakas, nakatulog kami ng 1 a.m. Isang gabi naman no.
Butong-butong, part 9.
Ayaw mo gaulaw nga ikaw nga nagsayaw sasayaw sa bukid mo.
Baby, do you love me? Baby, do you...
Hot tub. Alright, come to this job then, and this pool is not looking good. It's been left for around 8 years. I did get my GoPro out and previously done some underwater shots.
This is Harry, and this is a giant turtle maze. Is Harry smart enough to win this maze? We have a problem. For this to work, each joint needs to be watertight. So I spent hours gluing each seed to waterproof the maze. Let's just hope it works. Harry is a very messy eater. I normally put him in a small tank for feeding time, but it's kind of late. So I made this custom feeding ring with black airline tube. He's gonna need to win the entire maze to find it. It actually flows. Oh no, the water is freezing. I'm going to add this heater so we have a mini turtle jacuzzi. It's finally feeding time. But before we open this gate, our maze needs to cross. These are calcium sticks, which are really just like a turtle protein shake. And these are freeze-dried thoughts. Incorrect. He immediately went right instead of left, but he's shooting back the right way. Maybe his brain's bigger than we thought, or maybe he's just really, really hungry. He's starved of food. Whoa!
Lazada, sulit sweldo sale na ulit. Sulit ang sweldo mo sa grocery brands on Lazma.
So yan mga kaibigan, nandito naman tayo sa ating garden na nag-yelo. Kukuha lang ako ng patatas, no? Ay, patatas. Kukuha lang ako ng carrots, no? Nagutom ako eh. Pero
Di nga ako makatulog ngayon kasi
Ibang position yung birds. Puta mo yung gagawin lumalabas. Hilahin mo. Ikunik mo, ikunik.
Naulang ako! Nakita na mo na... Naunsa ka marikan? Nakita!
may anak man siya. Ano Robinson guys, ito. Ako pagkapila nga floor. Kurang kita na kapayo guys eh.
What has been your favorite game recently?
I think
Shines with one thing I got it for you when you got through.
Babae ang inaasahang anak ng mag-asawang Maricris at Bernard. Pero laking gulat nila. Nung lumabas ito at malaki ang tiyan na parang buntis.
Hey man, I'll pay you $100